minutes in, we're like, oh God. Dude, I'd be like, we got to go tomorrow. We got to go tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't. We can't. I'm not doing this again. Not right now, back to back.
No. That would be it. That would be the end of it.
Do you see what my background is, by the way?
Is it
the eclipse, baby?
Oh, that's tight.
A pixelated eclipse. I figured throw that up there. All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Yo, sup?
Nothing, dude. Just doing the podcast, having some spuds.
What's up? What's up? Hey, who's that?
Hey, get on Discord.
What's up?
So what's up, D?
Just doing the podcast, smoking some bud. Dude, we got to do more what's ups.
Am I supposed to
Did
say
you
what's
watch
up
the
back?
ad? Did you watch the ad?
Yeah, but I didn't like you didn't write.
We're pretending like we're like
what's-ups.
okay. Well, this is why I left it in bold. Yes, multiple what's ups.
Like we're doing it back and forth.
3 times 3. Let's try that again.
I didn't know.
I thought you would just get it.
I didn't know.
Okay, try it again. Wait, let's switch this actually.
Okay. Let's start over.
Yo, sup?
Nothing, dude. Just doing the podcast, having some spuds.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Hey, who's that?
Hey, get on Discord. What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
So what's up, D?
Just doing the podcast, smoking some bud. You just logged into the 3Bud Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
What's up? JD's bringing it back.
My sister brought that back, and I'm helping her because I think it's a noble pursuit.
You're just in for it.
I'm here for it. I think we should all try to bring What's Up back. It's not that hard, you guys. Takes
Also,
just 2 seconds.
I did want to make note that this is episode 365.
Yep.
So that means I'm
one for every day.
The 3-bit challenge. You have to, for the next year, starting Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Actually, Wednesday, because you'll listen to Tuesday. So you're going to listen to one episode every day for the full year in order. Episode 1, 2. It might get a little rough in there sometimes, but you got to do it. The 3-bit challenge, winner takes all. That's it. I don't have
It'll be, you'll come out of it a different person. I won't say better. I won't say worse. But you won't be the same person that
you will be changed.
You will be different
somehow.
You may be just the main difference may be that you're just filled with regret.
You might hate listening. You might stop listening to podcasts altogether at that point. I don't know. 3-bit
not just this one, just any of them. You're like, I don't think I need to listen to podcasts anymore. That may be the consequence. You don't know. Just give it a try. Do the challenge. TikTok or whatever.
It's a TikTok challenge. We're on TikTok.
You don't have to be on TikTok to issue a TikTok challenge.
You just have to say TikTok.
And then it ends up on TikTok. Someone call it TikTok down here. Tell them we're doing a challenge.
You guys tell them we're doing TikTok.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news.
Our news this week is whipping around on a loop. It's brought to us by Crave Cookies, the cookie company, the American cookie company. You've heard of them. Every time you hear the national anthem and you feel that warm tingling in your belly, that's a Crave cookie. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, so
get your cookie on.
It's the cookie anthem. It's official. Guys, you go to cravecookies.com. You will see the weekly menu that Trent's put together. You can get like 5-6 different cookies every week. But if you listen to this podcast, you get the next week's menu. This is early. This is a big deal. And we're going to tell it to you right now. The week beginning this Friday, April 12th. What we've got, remember, the Twix is our monthly cookie. I made 208 of those the other day. So go in there and buy some because
JD made them.
They're all gone already. We've also got the salted caramel Reese's.
Okay.
I'm going to have to cut caramels for that, aren't I? Scotch Rookie, the Sinful White Toffee, and the chocolate cream pie.
Oh, man. This week sounds decadent as...
That's what I was thinking. Like, I don't care because I'm just taking home a fistful of Scotch Rookies every day. That's all I'm here for is the Scotch Rookie. But, man, the rest of those are going to be rich.
Are you guys doing those little ones? Those little cookies?
I am. Here's the thing.
They're on the website.
Yeah, so Midvale has them. They're called Cravelets. Guys, you got to go to different Crave locations. I know everyone gets their favorites, but if you go to different ones, they have different things. Like in Midvale, like Trent's location, they have Cravelets, which are little 1 ounce cookies. Normally they're 6 ounces, which is
I want those.
Huge. 1 ounces, and you get like 10 of them. And dude, they're dangerous. Trent says he'll get a pack of them, and then before he's driven all the way home, they're gone. And
if you eat 10 1 ounce cookies, it's not as bad as one 6 ounce cookie.
Exactly. Do the math there. You're basically eating 2 Crave cookies, which if you did in a normal scenario, you'd be like, oh God.
I'm gonna die before I get home.
No. So what I do when I roll out the dough, if I have like 4 ounces left over, because I can't make that into a 6 ounce cookie, I just make myself little Cravelets, take them home, throw them in the oven. I always have Crave cookies, hot, fresh, and tiny.
Wow.
My whole life is cookies.
Hey, dude, that's a good saying. That's the new Crave motto. My whole life is cookies.
I also got this hoodie Trent got me.
I can't see it. Oh, there we go. I love it. That's a good one.
Resting batch face. Yeah, that's
it's
me.
It's a cookie. It's a dude with the cookie. He's got sunglasses because obviously he's pretty hardcore.
He's always in a batch of cookies. So guys, go to cravecookies.com. Go down, find a store. There's new ones always. Every week there's a new one. There's got them in Chicago now.
Yeah, one a week seems like.
Yeah, so go get your cookie on. Tesla is trying to get Apple to prove that its autopilot wasn't responsible for killing a driver since he had Total War open on his phone. This is a stretch, barely qualifies in the podcast as a video game story. But
it's video game adjacent. It mentions a video game, so we'll do it.
Hey, this is one your mom would send you because she's like, "You like video games, right?" And you're like,
"You did this. You're doing crashes from the Teslas."
So this guy Walter Huang was driving a Tesla, and the autopilot was activated, and I think it drove him into another car. It just killed him. His car killed him, and Tesla
died.
Yeah, and Tesla is trying to force an Apple engineering manager to testify that Huang was actually playing Total War on his phone at the time of the crash. So it's kind of a weird thing. Like, it was open, but was he actually touching and engaging with his phone during the crash? We don't have that exact data, so we're going to try to prove it in a court of law. This is Sega's Total War 3 Kingdoms, and
not worth it, bro.
I guess. Yeah, because the Apple engineering manager said that it, quote, suggests possible user interaction, which might be a screen touch or button press. So this all hinges on the fact that if you have autopilot, which is what they call it, autopilot, Tesla's owner manual says autopilot users must remain engaged while driving. I don't know in any portrayal in fiction or in real life where autopilot, other than I guess the movie Airplane, where it still requires you to like do a bunch of like autopilot takes over. Isn't that the idea, is that it's running the whole thing? So it's basically a misnomer. It's like, it shouldn't be called that in the first place. But it feels like to me the Tesla is working super hard here in a court of law to establish a legal precedent that if you open your phone in a Tesla, the autopilot is legally allowed to kill you. Like, we've established that precedent. If you're driving a Tesla, you have autopilot on, and your phone's out, the car can kill you. And
Dude, dead.
that's fine. Legally, we're cool. We're clear. Your car can murder you.
Dude, this is we're actually there's this TV show. Actually, I've talked about it on the show called Upload. It's a comedy show. It's on Prime, I think.
Yeah.
It's the guy who made The Office, right?
Right.
Anyways, that's like episode 1. The main character dies because all the cars have autopilot, and his has been tampered with. He's just sitting there screwing around on his phone or whatever, and he gets in a car crash because it had been tampered with. Dude, this is where we're heading. Dude, I
can't use it.
This is what we're gonna. I don't want to use autopilot. I'm like Will Smith in iRobot. Like I'm just gonna switch to.
What a beautiful reference.
Switch to driver mode every single time, and everyone's gonna get mad. And like,
and they don't even know you're being attacked by hundreds of robots. Yeah, they're all on fire now and they're gone. But at the time, I had to do it because of the robots.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, don't drive your Tesla and don't play video games in your Tesla, or Elon Musk will kill you. He'll kill you.
I think he wants to do it too. That's the thing.
I think he likes it. He watches through the cameras. Dragon Quest XII's executive producer is stepping down since the game doesn't seem to be getting made at all. This one was weird. I know Dragon Quest is not a game I don't think we've ever mentioned on this podcast, but it is a series that has been receiving steady update or new games that are being released since 1986. So it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big
like there are
franchise.
people who are way into Dragon's Quest.
Yeah.
Well, it's not me, but there are people there.
Right. So they announced Dragon Quest 12 in 2021. And ever since then, which is weird. It's so weird that 2021 was 3 years ago.
Dude, it might have been. It might as well have been 100 years ago. Like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like I was alive at that point.
Oh my God. Were we all babies? I don't even know. But that's a kind of a crazy long delay considering there's just like a regular pace of releases in this game, dating back to the 80s. I mean, 86, 87, 88, 90, 92, 95, 2000, 2004, 2009, 2012, 2017, and now we're in 2024. It's been 7 years. So that is the longest delay in between titles. And the thing is this guy, the producer, the executive producer, Yu Miyake, he steps down and it's going to lead. They said it's leading to delays and restructuring within. This is Square Enix, by the way. The game is with Square Enix now. I think they've bounced around a lot of different studios over the years, but Square Enix is going to have to restructure after this guy leaves, which leads me to believe that did they even start working on it? Doesn't that sound like they didn't even do anything?
Yeah, it sounds like they were just like someone was like, "It's on the way. It's on the way" for
7 years.
Yeah.
And the thing is, my mind went to, well, he's been with this since 1992. He's been on the series. He was a big part of the franchise since 92, and I was like, oh, so he's an old fuddy-duddy
franchise.
I just thought he was old. I thought he might be just slipping. But dude, no, he's 56. So, and 56 in gaming is not that old, because that's like when you're just starting to get into like the good stuff, like in engineering and all that stuff. Like, yeah, that's kind of the money age. But now he's moving over to lead Square Enix's smartphone games division, which is, I guess, like being put out to pasture. And then
it's like the easy job, just like they're gonna pump out a bunch of garbage nobody cares about.
They don't care if you don't release a game in 7 years, apparently, over there. But apparently, President Takashi Kiryu is spearheading efforts to revitalize the company's game development pipeline. Once more, this trend we're seeing is that the president just takes over. Like, no, fuck that. I'll just run everything. I'll just do everything.
I'll just do it.
Yeah,
I've got so much time because actually
it's the same thing that was happening
do
at
anything
Sony.
else.
Yeah, so now Square Enix is following the same thing where the president's just like, I'll just do it myself. You know what? You're fired. Everyone can't do this. I'll do it myself. Yeah, this is I don't know. I just think it's interesting that it's 7 years out from the last one. And this is a popular series. People like this, and they will buy 12 regardless. And the fact is that we've been waiting, but Square Enix has been sitting there like, what are you doing? And they go to him, they're like, what do you got for us? And he's like, nothing.
He's
And
like,
when you
let me
can
check.
me,
What do we got, guys? And they're like, it's coming. Don't worry. And he's like,
Yeah.
I know, but they're asking, like, I need to see what you got. And they're like, okay, so here's the thing.
so this is really uncomfortable.
We were hoping that you would just kind of ask and then move on. We actually don't have anything.
Ooh, yeah, you've been asking, just moving on for years now. I didn't think this was going to be like. I thought this was more like a meet and greet meeting.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
He's like, well, what have you guys been working on? He's like, what
Stuff?
do you mean? What do you mean? What am I working on?
Dragon Quest 12, of course.
I'm not paid to work.
Imagine like you lay off or move around this guy that's running this team, this product. It's a product that they've been working on for 7 years, and when he leaves, it's like we have to start over from scratch, and we're gonna keep him on. That dude should be in the gutter right now. Like that's so crazy to me. Anyway, Dragon Quest.
All these games, honestly, if we could get some like really good project managers in the gaming industry, I feel like we would be getting a lot more games.
All we're getting is presidents. The presidents are just going to run everything. It's just going to be like 4 presidents running 4 game studios. That's going to be the future.
They're like, are we an indie studio again? Like, yeah, we are. You fired everybody. It's just you now.
But we don't have QA just like an indie studio.
You've been programming this game by yourself. Remember, you took that over 6 months ago.
You've been doing it for 7 years. Don't you remember? Tekken's producer thinks that it's younger players prefer team games so they can shift responsibility if they lose. So I felt really called out by this. This is the Tekken series producer, Katsuhiro Harada. Dude,
Katsuhiro Harada.
they're killing me right now with all these Japanese names.
I know. Honestly, we should take like just a entry level,
just a
Japanese
very brief
pronunciation class,
just for the names
and French. We need French and Japanese.
No, I think we got the French covered. I think we're pretty good on French.
You know what? You're right. We're pretty good at it.
So he is talking about, I think this is an interview with somebody, and he's talking about the player base that plays Tekken, and he's noticed a shift because this game's on its like 8th iteration, Tekken the fighting game. It's a one-on-one side by side, like side to side fighting game, 2D fighting game. Been around forever, and he's noticing this shift in how Tekken players play. And this is kind of, I'll just read some quotes here and we'll just kind of pick through these because I was like, I'll summarize, but the quotes really speak well for themselves. So in Japan and probably most of the world, my generation is a big one. It makes up a good chunk of the population. That made our society a competitive one. If you applied to school or for a job, there was always a lot of competition. Because of this, people in my generation prefer definitive outcomes, a clear winner and loser. This applies to folks in and around their 50s. So I guess, like, yeah, probably in Japan. I don't know if the boomers ever really had to compete for jobs. Ever.
They would just walk in with their resume, remember?
Or not their resume, with just their dick in their hands, and they'd be like, yeah, here's a pension.
You got a job?
A 40-year pension.
We actually do have a job for you. So you want to work today? You want to work right now?
Yep. But he says here, he goes on to say, most young people nowadays are the opposite. They're rarely eager to engage in one-on-one showdowns. Plus, because fighting games pit you against you by yourself against a single opponent, you have to accept all the responsibility if you lose. You can't blame anyone else. In team-based shooters, when players win, they can say they won because of their own contributions, but when they lose, it's because they got matched with a lousy team.
Dude.
This sounds like me. This is how I am when I play multiplayer games. I prefer, and you remember when we played Rocket League, I wanted to play 4-on-4 versus like 2-on-2 because we play 2-on-2 and we lose. Well, I know it's not you because you have 6,000 hours in Rocket League. So I'm like, if we lose, it's 100% on me.
It's me. But if there's 4, you can
I can blame some of the idiots. Yeah, exactly. So this is me, dude. I'm exactly who he's talking about. And this is how I was in League of Legends. I didn't want to do like smaller matches, not because they had a 3v3. Yeah, and it was just like I just didn't really, I don't know. I preferred to have the ability to blame my teammates. So he says he's considering, this is what's interesting about the whole piece, the whole article, the interview, whatever, is he says he's trying to consider other ways to engage players other than one-on-one in Tekken, which is, famous for being a one-on-one game. He says, quote, right now in Tekken's online mode, each player fights alone, battle after battle, just trying to climb the rankings. Maybe with more varied modes based on things like teams or regions, it could add more metagaming as well. So I love that. I love this whole thing. I love that he's thinking about it.
Here's what I already solved this problem for them. I already know what they're supposed to do. So whenever someone's losing or like losing pretty badly, instead of letting them go on full tilt, they put them in a crybaby timeout where they just go out and the computer takes over for them for a minute, so they don't have to do anything. And then when they're done crying about how bad they suck at a video game, they can come back in.
I like crybaby mode. I could do that.
It's just a video game. But this is look, you can't blame your teammate. You can't blame lag, right? That's the other one. We had a guy, we were playing Helldivers and he died. And he's like, oh, my camera keeps glitching. And we're like, is that even a thing? Like, what camera? That's not like I'm controlling a camera. I'm just like behind my guy. It's third person. I'm just controlling my guy. And he's like, my camera keeps glitching. So I was like, I don't know, man.
Hackers, dude. Fucking hackers, man.
You don't even have to come up with an excuse if you lose.
Sometimes my ping's crazy. Sorry, my little brother hit the reset button.
Oh, dude, I don't know what they did. Like, I think my little sister was messing around with the control settings, and like, I don't know. It's all backwards, I think.
Anyway, I got to reset. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so crybaby mode takes care of all that. It just kicks you out for a second, lets you take a breather. You can play like if you want to keep playing, you can play like a real easy game for a second, and then like Tetris on slow mode or something, and then it'll put you back in once you're. Good.
I like the visualization kind of this guy's mind's eye of this all the generations younger than him as these like people who are just like you said, kind of crybabies, but don't want to take any responsibility, and they want to move in like lemming style groups so that if someone fails, they can be like, or if the group fails, then they can just blame it on each other.
Look, if everyone fails, if one of us fails, we all fail.
Yeah.
Isn't that how it works?
No one-on-one competition.
Everyone's pointing the finger.
Glom together in little failure clicks. I love it.
This reminds me, my son was hanging out with a bunch of his friends yesterday. They were at our house, and they were all talking trash to each other. And I was like, okay, hold on one second. Okay. And I point at one of them and I'm like, okay, raise your hand if you think you could beat him up in a one-on-one fight. Everyone raised their hand. I go, next kid. Raise your hand if you could beat him up in a one-on-one fight. Everyone raised their hand. So they can all win all the time.
They could all beat each other. No power, even power levels.
Everybody wins. It's like there was even a girl there, and she was raised. She beat them all
like,
up.
I'll beat up everyone.
Like, yeah, we beat her up too.
Yeah.
You want me to do it right now?
I can't believe you didn't start a kid fight club in your basement yesterday. That's what I'm.
We were close. I was trying to get there. We were pretty close.
We were close.
I'm getting there. Don't worry. I'm like priming them for underage fight club.
Dude, underage fight club. You know, it can't be the worst thing that we'll see in the news this year.
Okay, but for real, he did say his junior high does have a fight club in the bathroom. Kids just go in there and they're not mad at each other. They just go in there to fist fight.
That's tight, dude.
And
that's what happens right before they blow up all the banks.
This is our generation.
The kids are all right.
Is in trouble.
Dude, the kids are all right. The millennials got crybaby mode in their video games, but the younger kids are having bathroom fight club, which is just full of so many hard surfaces.
Like if you remember the movie Fight Club, they're not fighting because they're like happy with their lives and satisfied. No. They're just like
rather
need
the
an outlet.
Uh-huh.
That's where our youth are
at. And then they go blow up all the banks. So that's what I'm saying. This is going to be okay.
We're like right there.
Terrorism next.
Yeah.
Since no one can afford to update their gaming machines, 60% of playtime in 2023 went to 6 years old or older games. That is crazy. Not unsurprising. This was a game industry report by market researcher Newzoo, who we've cited a few times on this podcast. This came out in April 2nd. I like that. I think that they probably were planning to release this on the 1st, April 1st. It was probably ready. They probably didn't need to delay it one more day. But they didn't want to release it on April 1st. You can't release anything serious on April 1st.
Nope, you can't.
The internet's ruined one day of the year. It's so stupid.
I'm okay with that, though.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, I guess. So, in short, the PC and console gaming market grew 2.5%, and it reached $93.5 billion in revenue last year. So it's growing. It's huge. But overall, playtime decreased and gamers spent more and more time in a smaller list of games. So just for an example, the top 10 games by average here, we'll just go by console, just a couple of the top few. On PC, Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, Counter-Strike 2, and CSGO.
Which is
The Sims
pretty much an
4.
older game.
So, and then League of Legends is on there at 7, Grand Theft Auto 5, Rocket League. So PC, basically all those games are.
Yeah, almost
Some are
all
like
the top
10
10
years old.
except for like Valorant.
Yeah, kind of new, still a couple years old.
Yeah.
Same story on PlayStation, Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty, and then the only ones that are new, the only games that people are playing that are new are like FIFA, and like sports games.
No,
so like
EA Sports FC 24.
But
Oh, that's the worst name.
Roblox, Rocket League, Minecraft, Xbox, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto 5, Minecraft, Roblox, Rainbow Six Siege.
Dude, it's up. Rainbow Six
9
Siege
years
shows
old?
up at PlayStation
10
and
years
Xbox.
old? Dude, and then on the Switch, Fortnite, Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, that's actually notable. You know, Switch kind of gets out of this. Switch isn't as far in it, but they still have Minecraft and Fall Guys.
Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, so actually Switch seems like the only one that has fresh games coming out for gamers. Everyone else is just stuck in what I saw. They were called black hole games. So it's like a game you just get stuck in the ecosystem of, which is why everyone's trying to do these battle passes that keep you locked into the singular gaming ecosystem, where you're like, oh, well, I don't want to play another game because I could be earning llama points or whatever in Fortnite, and I don't want to play another game.
Sounds so stupid right
llama
now,
coins.
JD.
What are they called? What are they called, Peterson?
V-Bucks?
Oh, yeah. There's not like a free... What's the free currency?
Oh, there's no free currency.
Oh. Well,
Just
now I do
V-Bucks.
feel stupid. So, couple of stats here.
I'm sorry, there's one called llama coins. That's
what thanks.
I forgot about llama coins.
Yeah,
you're
no,
not stupid. You're good. Keep going.
Thanks, buddy. So 66 titles accounted for 80% of all playtime last year. 66 games. Do you remember,
That's
Peterson,
crazy.
off the top of your head, how many games there were released on Steam last year?
I don't remember the number.
It's more than 66. Is that help?
It was a little bit more than 66, if I remember.
And
right.
it wasn't 67. It was 14,000. So when you have 14,000 games releasing on Steam and 66 games that most of which didn't release on Steam this year account for 80% of playtime last year and 60%. So 60% of that 80%, which you do the math, that was all spent in games that are 6 years or older.
That's
of those like 66.
That's
so
crazy.
Those 66 games don't even represent like 66 games that came out in 2023 or even in the 2020s. I mean, these came out during the Obama administration, dude. Like most of these games 2 presidents ago. So of the 23% of playtime spent on new games last year, so 2 years or younger, so not even just the same year, just newer, more than half of it was spent on huge annual sequels like Madden or NBA. So that's the tiny fraction of gamers that game studios are competing for. Because apparently, like Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox, they just gobble up. You look and you're like, oh, the gaming industry is so big. It's $100 billion industry. No, it is not. That is a very misleading figure. It is like a $10 billion industry that actually is like something that you can fight for. Everything else is spoken for. All the other money is tied up in V-Bucks and llama coins.
It's like opening up a grocery store and being like, dude, grocery store industry is so big. Like people buy so much food.
Yeah.
Dude, I can just get into this. It's no big deal when really like Walmart has it all.
And Walmart's already consolidated everything. Yeah. And that's the thing is we've consolidated all the video game studios, and the ones that have been consolidated, like Embracer Group, half of them are being shut down. So only 8% of all video game playtime last year was spent on new non-annual titles like Diablo 4 or Baldur's Gate 3. So that's what you got. 8% of that 93 billion. So yeah, about what I said. About $10 billion. That's what you're fighting for. because everything else is accounted for. And that's, I wouldn't say accounted for, because I do think there's room for growth there. You release a big game like, Hogwarts Legacy, that 10%, that more money will just appear.
Yeah.
But overall,
well, and what happens too is it does shift. So like you release a huge game like Hogwarts Legacy or something like that, the kids stop playing
for a second,
Fortnite and Minecraft for a few months, right? They bounce away from that to this other thing, and then they come back. So yeah, I mean, like there is other money out there, like people are willing to spend, but a lot of times, a lot of the money just like shifts to something else for a little bit, and then they bounce back.
How do you look at this as a game studio and not just
Give
say,
up.
okay, we're laying off 90% of our staff? Like, this is so like grim, right? This is like a really bleak outlook.
Here's what you do. You're a game studio. You break off every developer. You assign them to a 4-person team. And you say, everybody, all 4, you're all making indie games now. You're all your own company. You're making your own 4-man team game.
And if one of you hits on like a Balatro or a Valheim, that is the only way we can make money.
We get a Pal World or something. Give us something, and that's it. That's the only way. That's the new business model.
Dude, I think this is bleak. This makes me sad. And it's really interesting because these games are quote unquote old, but they all seem to have come out in the same kind of generation almost. Like when we started this podcast, like that's the generation. GTA 5, Fortnite, Roblox is a little bit older. Minecraft is much, much older. But League of, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're.
Here's the thing, though. All of these games, though, always have, if you think about it, like updates. They're not stale. They're always doing updates. So Fortnite is always like the map's changing all the time. The one that doesn't change really is Rocket League. That's
like Counter-Strike, CSGO, or League of Legends doesn't change that much. To be honest.
League of Legends doesn't. But yeah, so it's like, but the big 3, Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft. First of all, are like kid games. Those are the kids are playing those, and they do updates. The different games. Roblox, you're never playing the same game. There's like thousands of games to play on there, and so people are just switching it up all the time. And so, yeah, I mean, they've done a good job of keeping the game alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think everyone wants to chase that, like you mentioned. But again, you view this. I mean, it is a little bit bleak to think about, but at the same time, this continues to prove, I think, our point that we're just the only successful games we're going to see coming out in the next several years are just indies. That's it.
Indies. That's a great point.
There's only room for indies now. It feels like that's
AAA.
it.
This is AAA's dead, and this is
AAA's is going to be chasing that Fortnite number, and they're not going to get it.
Yeah,
they're going to be chasing that Minecraft
now.
They're not going to get it.
Yep.
Minecraft is now just part of the zeitgeist. Every new generation plays it. My nephew, he is 6 years old. 7. He's 7.
Yeah.
All he wanted for Christmas last year was Minecraft. That was it.
Yep.
That was the only thing he wanted, Minecraft. And it was like,
and they don't even play survival. They just kind of like goof around on it.
They just make a new world, and then they play for a little bit, and then make a new world.
Yeah. That's what my nephew was telling me, is he has like 17 worlds, and I was like,
I'm telling you,
what are you accomplishing? He's like, I'm just goofing.
It's just part of the culture now. Yeah. You're a kid, you play Minecraft. So
it's like Legos, but digital. So
yeah, which they also do Legos. So.
Oh man.
Okay.
Go Indies. Following in Embracer Group's muddy footsteps, Xbox President Sarah Bond has set up a new team dedicated to game preservation and forward compatibility.
On the surface, this sounds positive. You're like, okay, great.
Yeah, I just want on the surface, right?
Yes.
But I want to drill a little bit deeper than maybe we did when we reported on Embracer making very similar claims 2 years ago, just 2 or 3 years ago. Embracer, when they wanted to, quote, have a copy of each physical game ever made. You guys remember this? They'd already bought like 50,000 games, consoles, and accessories, and they were moving them to a big underground vault.
Yeah, like
near Karlstad in Sweden. Yeah, they were like building a vault for all these games and stuff. You know what that is? That's just like, those are all just like piled into like 2 or 3 storage container crates. And those are just like in the parking lot of Embracer Group somewhere, just like getting eaten by rats and shit. That never went to a vault. It never became anything because it costs money. And Embracer Group, if they've proven one thing, does not like to spend money or lose money. And so
They probably sold it, to be honest.
yeah, this is the exact same thing. This is came from an internal message from Sarah Bond. So they were sending this to internal teams. So this wasn't really a big marketing thing that they've pushed yet, but you can goddamn guarantee you it will be once they've figured out how to spin it in a way that makes Microsoft and Xbox look great. But this was the internal message from Sarah Bond. Quote, "We're moving full speed ahead on our next generation hardware, focusing on delivering the biggest technological leap ever in a generation." Doubt. Where are you going from the Xbox Series that's gonna make? I don't know. Is that really? Are there games that are maxing out the Xbox Series X right now? Because I don't think there are.
No.
So I don't know what technological leap she's talking about here, especially since we were already talking about the next console. They seem to be being like, there's no next console. It's just going to be like up.
Not like old technological leaps, because I feel like there was technological leaps in the past between consoles.
Huge ones.
Yeah, they were like a big deal.
But I don't think they're doing them anymore.
It does. Where do you go? You know,
I don't think the Xbox One to the Xbox Series was very dramatic. I mean, the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One was sort of something. I don't know. But basically, they said, so she goes on to say, "We've formed a new team dedicated to game preservation, important to all of us at Xbox and the industry itself. We're building on our strong history of delivering backwards compatibility to our players, and we remain committed to bringing forward the amazing library of Xbox games for future generations of players to enjoy." So it does sound like they're just going to focus on the games that they own, and that seems like a lot of them. And it seems like they're trying to make them forwards and backwards compatible because they want to sell them. And so, like, what happens when these games that they make, like an old obscure title that nobody bought in the first place and no one buys, do you really think they're going to go through the effort to update that the next time and the next time and actually make sure that it can play in the future? No. So, if they're not selling on Xbox Live Marketplace or whatever the fuck, they will not keep restoring and updating these games. They just won't.
So this is what JD and I talked about a little bit, was like this is an interesting concept. On the surface, it seems good, but the fact that a company, a for-profit organization, is doing it, makes it not as good, because we've seen what happens, right? Because, I mean, let's be honest, it costs money to do this. All of these things are going to cost them something. We know
they established a full team to do this. So this is salaried employees that are working on this.
Yeah, like they're paying for this. And so they're going to at some point expect an ROI, a return on their investment, which is not what you want. When it comes to game preservation, we honestly, I want a third party nonprofit, just like a interest group, to be doing this, to really be into preservation. And I know there's individuals who are like, they're collectors, but that's like not it.
Demanding a historian provide an ROI for the university.
Yeah.
Like, your research would make us money.
Yeah.
What?
You're like,
that's not going to happen. And that's why libraries aren't typically run by Microsoft.
Oh my gosh.
Or museums.
Yeah, like why libraries are not like for-profit entities.
Right.
Not raking in cash.
Yeah, no, I think Sarah Bond is going to, I think she's got a lot of lofty ideals here. And I don't think this is necessarily malicious on her part. You know, she's brand new. She's trying to make her mark. And she's trying to do something that ostensibly on the surface, like you mentioned, seems like a good thing. I don't think she's realizing that her efforts in general are just bad. And I think with things like this as well, you can kind of go the opposite direction and just harm future preservation efforts. And so I don't know if they're going to approach this properly. I doubt it. And I think we're just going to end up with, I think the end results of this are going to be 25 old Xbox games.
Well, I just don't think it's going to be what Long term, like when you say game
Short
preservation,
term.
you're thinking like, yeah, this is forever. Like they're holding on to something forever. What she's talking about, I don't even know if is technically what you would coin as game preservation, because she's talking about updating games so they exist in a library that can be used. But like JD mentioned, that's a lot of games for Xbox. I mean,
Mhm.
the original Xbox alone had a big fat library. And
Yeah.
so, like, yeah, keeping those live, that's great. Keeping a digital version of that somewhere that it can be played on a new machine, that's fantastic. However,
998 games on the original Xbox.
like, where do you put that? They're not going to make a store dedicated to where you can do that. So it's just going to exist somewhere. And again, for-profit organization, at some point that is going to be shut down, because they're going to say, how long have we been doing this? This has existed for 5 or 6 years. And they're like, we're just paying for this and like not getting anything back. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? We're not a charity. And so
and then all the efforts that they've made are just going to go poof.
it's just
and all those games will disappear forever with no chance of being revived.
If we're lucky, some rebellious employee about to quit will just start downloading these updated games onto some hard drives and like stealing them and taking them on their way out and being like, and then years later they'll be like, I took these as I left Xbox. Once Xbox is gone.
There's an app I have on my phone called Hoopla, and I believe it's a streaming app where you can check out movies and like TV shows and things from the library and then stream them. So like your library has like one license for White Chicks, and you can watch that on Hoopla as long as no one else is watching.
Why did you choose White Chicks?
I don't know, just a random movie,
Yeah, you did a great job of picking a
just like
movie.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think if Microsoft was serious about this is what they'd be doing. They would be setting up. They could brand it Microsoft, whatever. I don't fucking care. But you would set up a app like this that you could sync up with your local library, and you could rent these titles for free. Check them out.
It's like an emulator app. That's all it is. An emulator
Yep.
app. That's what they should be doing.
And you set it up through local libraries, and then you can, at that point, you can pin a rose on your own nose and say, look what we've done. We've done some good preservation. We've done good work. We're working with actual literal librarians, and this is how we're preserving games. What we're doing here, between, I said 998 games on the original Xbox. You know how many there were on the 360? 4,786. You think they give a fuck about the, I don't know, 4,650 that didn't sell well? No. See, Abby loved White Chicks.
Abby says, great movie, though. Come on, Abby. What?
Yeah.
Abby, you need to have a better version of the word great, okay? Because it's not great.
Abby gets it. She gets it. White Chicks is sick.
I'm just waiting for JD to be like, okay, well, my compiled list of my top 100 movies, it's in the top 20. So
next thing
every now and then there's one in there that's like, what? Why?
Do you remember Little Man? Or one of the Wayans brothers? They like,
yes,
they like CGI'd his face on a baby for the whole movie. Watching that next.
Okay, do homework for all the listeners. You gotta watch The Little Man with us.
Go watch The Little Man.
We'll spend
it's free on Tubi.
Uh-huh. Gosh.
Riblets. All right, put on your biblets. It's time for riblets.
Oh, I like that. Put on your biblets.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Well done.
All right. So, stop killing riblets. Riblets are these little tiny news stories. Just like riblets are tiny ribs. Quote unquote ribs. They're rib-like meat wrapped around a bone-like substance.
Rib-like bone.
A rib-like bone. And served to you in a basket. Stop Killing Games is a new campaign to stop developers from making games unplayable. This comes to us from YouTuber Ross Scott of Accursed Farms, and he has launched the Stop Killing Games campaign. That's the name of it. And according to their website, This is a quote just kind of summing up what they're about. An increasing number of video games are sold as goods, but designed to be completely unplayable for everyone as soon as support ends. The legality of this practice is untested worldwide, and many governments do not have clear laws regarding these actions. It is our goal to have authorities examine this behavior and hopefully end it, as it is an assault on both consumer rights and preservation of media. We are pursuing this in two ways. So I do think this is an excellent point. And from a legal standpoint, I think saying it's untested is also very valid, because if you think about it as a product, what if you had a DVD? I mean, it's kind of like, the only product that was like this was the VHS rewinder machines, and they were basically disposable. You could rewind a tape like 50 times and then they just stop working. That's like how video games are made now, though. And you pay $70 for a game, and a year or two later, EA is like, oh no, we released a new, what is it, FC? What is it called?
Yeah, the EA Sports FC.
We released a new Sports FC, so your old Sports FC doesn't work. I don't know if they're gonna turn a couple ears. I know AOC plays a lot of video games, so there's some politicians video games work that may take this on as like a weird pet project. I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting.
Here's the thing. Here's my weird take on this type of stuff, including game preservation a little bit. On a fundamental level, I actually agree with it. Like, yeah, man, we need to stop killing games. On a personal level, I don't give an F. Because I don't own physical copies of games. If a game is really old, I'm probably not playing it anymore. I probably haven't thought about it for a long time. So, like, on a personal level, I just don't care that much.
You're saying
on, like, a fundamental level, I'm like, yeah, this is wrong. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that.
It's like, I don't like to go to museums, but I think museums should exist.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, you'll never find me in an art museum because they're super boring. I've been to a few and I don't like it, but they should exist. Yeah, they absolutely should. Not for me, but for someone else.
Yeah, I really hope that this goes somewhere, because I do think that would be an interesting.
Yeah.
Because we talk about how live service games are killing the AAA gaming industry, and the need to make everything live service is fucking that up. With a game like Fortnite, it doesn't matter. Fortnite is the perfect setup because they could close up shop tomorrow and no one was on the hook. I mean, you spent money on cosmetic items, but you got Fortnite for free. You played it for years for free. We're Gucci. But when you pay $70 for a sports game like FIFA or Madden, and then 2 or 3 years later, you can't play it online anymore, and everything's just kind of borked, and then they take the servers down, you can't play it at all because it's an online-only game. Or a game like Suicide Squad is a better example. When they finally pulled down the servers on that game, you paid $70 for that game, and now it is literally unplayable. You paid $70 for a thing that no longer exists. I don't know. I think if you had a legal precedent that was set, a law that was written that said something to the effect of like, oh yeah, you can make those games, but you will need to keep them online in perpetuity forever, as long as you have any gamers that are interested in playing them. Live service games would dry up overnight, because the only way you could have one is if it was free to play, right? That's the only way you could get around that. And so unless you're releasing, and nobody wants to do that. Everyone's so chicken shit. All these developers and publishers are so chicken shit about just releasing a live service game for free, because they know damn well it won't make enough money on its own merits.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, even like The Division and all these other ones, no, because they know it won't make money, because there's too much going on and there's too many games to compete with. So they have to at least lock down that $70, initial buy-in from everybody, or the game won't be profitable.
What if, and I don't even know if this is even possible because I don't understand a lot of the technicality behind it, but like, what if there was a law where if you were like, hey, we're taking the game servers down, like, we're not supporting this game anymore, but if you own a copy, now we've opened it up. If you own a copy, anyone who owns it is allowed to, for profit, start their own server.
There you go.
That's the way. That's the way.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to support it anymore, fine. But anyone who's bought it in the past, now it's like open source. Like, they can go in and host a server, and they can charge people to do that.
Which, to my point, will kill live service games, because no gaming business manager in their right mind would ever approve of that. or be down for that.
They
So
would
they'll
have
say-
to be so confident in their game, like
Yep.
so confident.
So they're just going to say, fuck it. We're not doing live service. We're going to find another path to profitability. But live service games with this new ruling, they won't go anywhere because they will cost us so much long tail that there's no way for a game to be profitable. Whereas, you have things like movies that the longer they're out, the more money they make because now you've got streaming rights. Now they used to be DVD and VHS sales, rentals, all that stuff. The longer they're out, but with video games, live service games, the longer they were out, the more money you'd be losing, be consistently losing money. So it would be a losing proposition.
You got to pay to keep it out.
So I love this idea. Stop killing games. I don't know where it's headed, but you got to start somewhere. And if it's a YouTuber with a website, that's something because I haven't heard anyone talk about this and I love it. I love this. And then next up here, speaking of the devil, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League just dropped season 1 featuring a Joker. You have to grind the boring game in order to earn. This is so funny to me. This is perfect. If you guys remember, one of the biggest complaints about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is that the missions and levels were very repetitive. Same thing over and over again. Open world, go to this place, do this thing. Go to this place, do this thing. But the thing was the same thing over and over and over again. Same bad guys, same mission, same design, same layout. And so now they release season 1. And season 1 includes the Joker, which everyone's like, sweet, that's kind of cool. The Joker shows up. There's no story. There's no new missions. There's no new content other than just the Joker. And there's nothing besides like a couple Riddler missions and some reskin buildings that have like Joker graffiti on them. And so you have to, but you don't just get the Joker. You paid $70 on this game. You beat it. You played it for 40, 50 hours. And if you want the Joker now, you have to play it for another 10, 15 hours.
You got to grind hard.
You have to grind the levels. You have already been grinding for months or weeks or whatever. And you hate them, and now you have to grind them more, or you can buy Luthor coins.
Oh,
see, I wasn't that off base with llama coins because they're literally called Luthor coins, as in Lex Luthor. Luthor coins. Luthor Corp. Kill me.
Well,
the idea.
This is pretty funny though because I have seen 2 versions of this new Suicide Squad. I've seen 2 reports about this new season.
Yeah.
Either it is yes, perfect. This is exactly what we wanted from this game, or this is the worst thing they've ever done. Yeah, it's like everything I've seen, and it's like one of the other.
Very polarizing.
It's so funny.
But I think ultimately you spend 10 hours grinding a game you've already been grinding in a lot, and then you get Joker, and then what do?
Yep.
You go grind more, but you just have a new character now.
Yeah.
Kill me. This game is like a sick joke, dude. It's like the end. It's like the sign of the end times for live service games is Suicide Squad. This one is bad, dude. This one is really seems cynical, I guess would be the word I'd use for it.
Well, and this is why I have such a hard time with every brand new game being a live service game, is because the hardest part of a live service game is not making the game itself, is making it playable after you've gotten to the end game. And that's where they all fail. I mean, I'm talking, remember New World came out, that MMO? Fun. It was fun. You get to the end game, horrible. Division, super fun. You get to the end game, horrible. Right? And that's what they all do. And you're just like, I'm not interested anymore. Like and I'll talk about this a little later this episode. We started playing Diablo and Diablo 4. And it's the same thing with Diablo 3. It was fun. You get to end game, you're like, all right, I'm kind of done with this. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. But these games, like a game like Diablo, I think is okay with that. But when you have a game that's supposed to be live service and just play it forever, and this is your game forever, and the end game is not so flushed out, dude, everyone drops. You're going to drop, and you're going to be mad about it because you paid $70 for it. I hate it.
Speaking of, very apropos, Tekken 8 Steam reviews have fallen to mixed over their Battle Pass update. I'm sorry, not a Battle Pass. It's called a Fight Pass. That'll trick them.
Yeah, you don't battle, you're fighting.
Guys, this is another $70 title. Tekken 8 is a $70 title. And then they waited 2 full months after it came out to drop the Fight Pass. Never mentioned it before. Never said we're going to do this. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, now we have a fight pass. And it hard locks a number of the items in the game behind a paywall now, essentially. And so what's kind of crazy to me is looking at the Steam reviews here. All Steam reviews are still very positive. That's crazy. All of them are still, it's 16,000 reviews, but recent reviews are mixed with 3,000. And so I think that's absolutely wild, like how good this one is, and that it's still like its Steam overall rating is like holding steady despite the rage and review bombing on this one. But I do think that they've found, if there is a secret formula for screwing over your player base who have already spent $70 on your live service game, this is it. Waiting 2 months after release, because then everyone that's paid $70 and they've all told their friends this game's great, and they've gotten more friends in, and they've got word of mouth. You have your base here now. You have a base of players that are locked in because they dropped $70. And you didn't have that initial rage that Capcom keeps seeing because they release all their dumb add-ons, like the week of when they release the game, or they sneak them in. These guys waited 2 full months to do this shit. So no, I don't think it's gonna have an effect on sales at all. And I think there's probably a bunch of Tekken 8 players that are already done playing the game, and so they'll just buy Tekken 9. They don't give a shit. They won't even think about it. They won't even know about this stuff.
Yeah.
So this was I guess a good move. This is the formula if you're a scumbag. Release your battle pass 2 months after you've sold all your, you've sold all the suckers, and now you can just go find some more.
So I'm trying to think about it with battle passes and 70 full price games, right? Because I do think that's problematic, where you have a $70 game and then it comes out with a battle pass. That's messed up.
Yeah,
I think the only time I would be okay with that is a year and a half, 2 years later. So the game's been along for, you want to revive the game, add some content, and don't do a paid DLC. Instead, do a battle pass update where you can, because that way, like, I paid for this game 2 years ago, and like I'm okay. I played it a whole bunch, like I'm pretty good, and I bounced off the game, and now you want me back in? Like, there's a battle pass for $7.
And I get it. You worked on this game and kept it up and made it appealing for me to play for 2 years, and like, yeah, that's a cool reward. This was clearly something that they had in the tank.
Oh, already, like this was way in there. Yeah,
they were working on this before the game was released, and so that's why this.
I have a problem with that. If it's a $30 game and you put a battle pass, I think I'm okay with that.
But like the 2 month thing, dude, that just tells me that they knew this wouldn't go over well. They were trying to get it timed in a great window where they could start making money before the players dropped off, but not so early that the Steam review bombs would actually affect them. And they haven't, and they won't.
Remember the old fighting games they would release, and like there was a bunch of locked characters, and you just had to like play.
You had to earn them.
Yeah, you just earned them by playing the campaign.
No, you earn them by going to work, making money, putting that in your bank, and then connecting your bank account to your video game, and then giving them your money. That's how you earn new characters.
That's how you earn the new characters. Yeah.
All right, last thing here is from GD sales report. Just, I don't know, just whatever. Dragon's Dogma 2 has sold over 2.5 million units so far. That's a big number.
Hey, that's good. I mean, for a game that had such a dodgy release, 2.5 is great. You know,
2.5 million is awesome.
Good for them. Good for them. You want games. You want games that come out and you want them to sell well. You know what I mean?
You want them to sell well now, because if they're anything other than Fortnite or Roblox, we're cheering for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I like
Minecraft.
Even if it's a game I don't play. If it's a game I'm not interested in, if they come out and sell millions of copies, good on them.
People love this.
Trying to do.
Jenna's BJJ coach, I think, is playing this. He loves it.
Yeah. So, yeah, they had a couple snafus with some trying to do microtransactions and stuff. I think they dialed it back.
But I think the people that are playing it enjoy the hell out of it.
Yep. I was I was going to mention this as honorable mention for Riblet, that it reminded me of our last story. I saw a story that said No Man's Sky has gone up finally 1 point on their Steam reviews, which apparently is extremely hard to do. They've been trying this bounce back for 7 years.
I mentioned that.
They just went up a point.
Dude, that's great.
I'm good for them, because that's like, at this point, that's like nearly impossible.
Yeah, they're very positive for recent reviews, and all reviews is mostly positive.
Yeah, dude.
And that was, they're at 78%. So that's very cool.
Also, a game that has been out for a long time that has never charged an extra dime.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and it's $30. I mean, it's on sale right now, but yeah, good for them. Good for you guys, No Man's Sky. Oh, all right. So before we do kudos, we have something wonderful. This was sent to our email, and
this is a real treat, guys. It's a real treat. Every now and then, our listeners really come through and wow us. And
I'd say most of the time that someone sends us something that they've like written and recorded for the it's pretty impressive.
We
but
love
this
it. It just tickles us completely. Like, so happy. So I'm gonna play this. This is a full song.
This is from Jake and DJ Silverthorne.
Yeah,
you guys are all so welcome for this.
Here you go.
I hear you crying. AAA games dying, and I know that it's affecting you. 3-bit, listen what I got to say. Save your strength for another day, 'cause I know what you got to do. Till dawn, you gotta get your cookie on.
And get your cookie on. And get your cookie on.
You know what crave they? Slinging mad dough, Pop-Tart, Flintstone, or chocolate churro. Baby, set your watch. They got that butterscotch. Ooh, got your rookie. You got it on lock. Party like rock stars. We'll never stop. Every kind of flavor. Next week it's gonna drop. Baby, I know you keep it goody, but I'm going to bed. I did it all for the cookie. Hailing in from the far north, it's DJ Silverthorne.
Yeah, Silverthorne dipping in with the ice cold feature. So get your cookie on, call me the cookie preacher. Better than sex, you could be my cookie teacher. Let us smack you across the face, Jack Reacher. Self-care with the icing on top. New line of pepper, fat, and making panties drop. Unleash it in the cookie monster, get a new fix. Call it Craven Chill, forget Netflix.
People need sugar and crave treating sick patients. They lining up, new stores sweeping the nation. Where you at? 'Cause we crushing this mission. Better strap in, 'cause we're reaching ignition. Greedy, take what you can. I know it's never enough. You suits think that you won, but we're patching our cuts. Some things they're gonna change. You think we're playing your games? We've had enough. Indies rise up.
At least marvel at these sinful cookies. Full cookies. Full cookies. Full cookies.
Bra freaking vo.
This is top shelf shit. This is better than the stuff we do on the podcast.
Silverthorne came in so hard too.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Heavy use of the auto tune, which honestly I should probably
That's how you know it's good. Yeah,
I should probably be doing that. I love it. This is wow. I love it so much.
Look, the gauntlet has been thrown down for the rest of you.
Mm.
What are the rest of you guys doing? What else? What are you giving back to us? We sit here and give you 365 episodes of like kind of nice dry dog shit, and like, what have you given us?
This is okay.
Jake and Silverthorne are doing this.
Honestly, this is all I've ever wanted. Like,
yeah.
Here's what I want. I want someone to give us a cease and desist Okay. And I want fan written
Yeah.
songs. This is all I
Yeah.
want. Like, I don't,
Any legal notice whatsoever for the podcast, we're that's what we would love.
yeah,
We'd love
like,
that.
This is what we're looking for.
But
We're
this is
trying.
like the more realistic thing we can get from you guys.
Oh, challenge accepted, bro. I can get a legal notice. Don't worry about that.
So huge thanks, huge shout out to Jake and Silverthorne. Just amazing, just absolutely incredible,
Beautiful.
and you guys can marvel at that music. Just rewind it and play it again. You're gonna love it.
Kudos.
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 All right, kudos, our positivity segment for things that we like, things that we're enjoying in life. Peterson, what do you got here?
Yeah. A show. I watched the show. I already watched all of it. It's only 6 episodes. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It is called The Magic Prank Show with Justin Willman. If you're not sure who Justin Willman is, he is the originator of that online prank where you make somebody think they've gone invisible. You cover them with the sheet, you pull it off, and like everyone pretends like they're invisible, and you make them think they've become invisible.
Okay.
He started that. And actually he addresses it on the show because now you've seen a bunch of copycats of it, people doing it to kids and stuff like that. So what he does is he has people who make comments on his TikTok videos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's YouTube videos, TikTok, whatever, and he finds somebody from those comments based on what they said, and he reaches out to them and says, "Hey, do you want to prank?" They'll be like, "Oh, prank my brother. He's always messing with me." So he's like, "Do you want to do this?" So they do it, and they set up a big old prank. And what makes this different than other prank shows is they incorporate, of course, like magic into it. And one of the points he makes is if you go to a magic show and you see somebody disappear, you're like, it's cool. Like you see, but if you're at freaking grocery store and somebody disappears in front of you, it is jarring. And so like they're getting these people who are not expecting it. And so there's 6 episodes. They do 2 pranks per episode, and they do a killer job. I'll tell you just like what one of them was. Like I mentioned the disappearing prank. Well, this girl, after she saw that video, she did that to her little brother when he was pretty little. And she posted, of course, on social media, got millions of hits. And he's crying, right? He's a little guy. He's crying and they're laughing at him. And so he's like, I got to get my sister back. Well, he always kind of takes that and he's like, okay, we're going to get her back big time. He makes her think that the freaking apocalypse has happened. They're at a restaurant and he has a newscaster that he knows, a real newscaster in LA, record a fake newscast. They play it. Everyone in the restaurant's in on this. The waiters are people that work for him. They're all people, amateur magicians, like they know what they're doing.
Okay.
And so he plays this newscast and like
what kind of apocalypse was it?
So everyone disappears in front of this girl's eyes. So the room shakes. The power starts going wonky. The lights kind of go off. Mostly they're kind of on her still after this news story. She's like, what is going on? And then the lights go off. Bam, come back on. Everyone's gone. And she even like sees somebody disappear and she's freaking out, right? This is the type of stuff.
This on YouTube?
No, it's on Netflix.
Netflix?
You got to watch it. They're
Dude,
very funny.
This sounds fucking awesome. I would love someone to do that to me to see how I reacted.
The final episode, I'll just say, they legit make a guy think that the apocalypse has happened while he is out asleep in a hypnotic trance. They hypnotize him, put him to sleep, take him to a other location, and he legit thinks the apocalypse has happened. It's so good. He does a great job. They use all sorts of magic tricks. They use mentalism where they predict what the person's going to do to like mess with them. Dude, it is good. Episode 1 is fantastic. It'll just hook you. I promise you. It's so easy to watch. You can watch with the kids. That's what I did. There's nothing bad in it at all. Like no swearing or anything like that. Maybe a little bit of fake blood for a second, but great. It's great. So it's called The Magic Prank Show with Justin Willman. I highly recommend it. Easiest watch ever.
Kind of reminds me, Jenna and I were at Fashion Place Mall a couple years ago when that shooting happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was I'd left her at like Urban Outfitters, and I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And the bathroom by Urban Outfitters was closed. So I had to hike all the way over to the food court. And so I was over by the food court, and then the shooting happened just like right outside there. It wasn't like a shooting. It was just like, it was like some gang related idiots, and no one even got hurt. I don't think they were just shooting guns, but everyone bailed. And so I walk out of the food court and it's empty. I mean, there were cell phones on tables, and I was like, huh, and like warm food with a fork in it kind of a thing. And I just like walked by like, huh, that's interesting. Strolled all the way back to Urban Outfitters where Jenna was like, dude, there's people like sheltering in stores and like, what's going on? And I just like had walked the way back and I was like, oh, there's like I don't know. Everyone seems to be running. Maybe we should just leave. I don't know. Just like casually left. And wow. Jenna the whole time was so anxious and on edge. And I was just like, this is kind of weird.
Think if that would have happened and you would have been primed heavily to think that something was going on before that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would have loved to see my reaction because that would have been
it's very
funny.
And then they like when they bring it back, like people are very good natured about it. It's very good. Watch it. Honestly, I don't think anyone will regret it. It's very good.
The Magic Prank Show with Justin Willman.
I
like that. Willman. Ugh. Yeah. When people are named like Willman and Willem, I'm like, guys, just give it up. You're William.
You're William.
Your name now. You're a William. You're William Dafoe. Sorry, I can't. So I have what Peterson came up with and is dubbed pre-kudos.
It's just as good as the regular kudos.
And you can't get pregnant from pre-kudos.
Well,
that's what we've been promised.
Yeah, we've heard that. I heard mixed reports, but
if you're in a hot tub, you definitely can't get pregnant from pre-kudos. So this is for Invincible, the comic book, the graphic novel, or whatever you want to call it. I checked out from the library the first, so there's 12 big, thick volumes of this. And I think you can also get, I thought there was a version that has it all. It's like a paperback and it's like a real thick paperback, but they didn't have that at the library. They just have these hardcovers and they're broken into 12 volumes. And like the last quarter of it is basically just like sketchbook stuff, like art, which is kind of cool, but I'm not interested in it. But I read the first book. I got it from the library of 12, and it covers essentially the first season of the show. Obviously, the book came first. And you guys, it is amazing. I love comic books. I've always loved comic books since I was a kid. And this one reminds me of reading comic books as a kid. And I will say, I feel like what I like the most about this, well, I like a lot about it, but one of the things that I did like quite a bit about it was the violence was toned down a ton, as weird as that seems to say. The violence in the show seems to be like unique to the show. Like, I think it's Seth Rogen because he did the same thing in The Boys. I think he just likes blowing up heads and seeing things just go exploding everywhere. But in the comic books,
well, I think it's a cheap way to like make bad guys more evil. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
to like really ramp that up quickly.
But then again, in the comic books, it doesn't feel like Omni-Man is that evil because his kills don't seem as gross, and it doesn't seem like he's like enjoying it as much as in the show where he's like squishing someone's head. Yeah, he'll just cut a head off and be done with it. And he's not like it's because like, yeah, to us we really are bugs. And so he's like, why would I waste my time like doing all this stuff? He's just like, nope, cut you in half with my hand. We'll move on. I think it offers different perspectives on characters that are really interesting. And I am just so delighted. I want to read. I'm going to read all 12. It was a quick read. Don't buy them because they're big and expensive. And I don't think they're not read them multiple times. Like, I don't think I would read this more than once. I love it to death. I'm going to read all 12 books, but this isn't like something I want to own. So check it out at the library or somewhere else you can get it. But Invincible, if you have a way to read it, check it out. I had like it on my radar and I'd flip through a couple of them. Like whenever I'd see it, I'd flip through it and be like, oh yeah, read a scene or two and enjoy it. But I decided to sit down and read the whole thing. And it's great. So I'll give you another update when I get through all 12. I'm sure I'll love it because I know generally where the story's going because I spoiled myself on it, and I just can't wait to read all about it.
Nice. Okay, that's our kudos. Rundown.
Rundown is this segment where we do a rundown, which we're still trying to figure out what that means. Basically, we talk about a game we're playing. Peterson this week has a rundown blitz, a review blitz. He's got 3 games to do rundowns for.
This is what happens when I put off my work for months and months, and then I'm like, oh crap, I got to do all of it on one day, and then just blitz it. So
I forgot about that rundown the boss wanted.
So I got 3 rundowns for you. 3 rundowns for you. These are pretty quick, pretty easy. There's
cool. I like it.
One bad, one medium, one good. Okay. First one, I'm just going to go in that order.
Yep.
First one is a game called, it's been on my wish list forever. It was finally on sale. I had a little like that. 2 of these come from like just a gap in what I wanted to play. And I was just kind of like, what should I do? What should I do? And I was like, I'm going to play this. It's a game called Dicey Dungeons.
This looks so fun.
This looks like this is right up my alley, right? It's a roguelike deck builder, card battler, deck building, dice.
Using
right?
dice. Yeah.
And I was
I love it. I love it.
Was what I want. I wanted this. It's got good reviews. It's got very positive, 89% positive reviews on Steam. So I was like, I'm going to play this game. It was cheap. I think right now it's on sale for
right now
$15.
It's $15,
and I picked it up for significantly cheaper than that. I picked it up for, I think it was like half off or something. And so I was like, yeah, I'll just get it. And so I bought it a while ago, so I started playing it. This game is, how it works is it's out like a game show kind of game show theme, and you're like going through and you're trying to beat these like bosses. There's like game showy music and an announcer and all that stuff. So you've got your dice and you're essentially rolling against them. So they've got a score that you're trying to beat, and you have powers that it's just like any other game. So you roll 3 dice and then you can place them in this box. There's one box where you can only place even numbered dice. There's one box where you can place dice that are 3 or higher, 4 or higher, stuff like that. And then it does something. It does 5 damage, or it does whatever. It does damage, or it multiplies based on how many you put in there. There's a dice you can re-roll, that sort of thing. So you equip these powers, and then you roll your dice, and then you use the dice, you put them where you want to like come up with your best set of moves, right? So it's not like, oh, I rolled a bunch of 1s. That's bad, because there's a place for 1s. There's a place for 2s. There's a place for 4s, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, this sounds like a lot of fun. This seems like what I would like. I played this game for 36 minutes.
Oh,
I did not enjoy this game at all.
What? I'm watching it. It looks fun. What the hell's wrong with it?
This is right up my alley.
Yeah.
It looks fun. Honestly, nothing about it pulled me in. And I was in the mood to play this type of game.
We're primed with Balatro. Yeah.
This was like pre-Balatro. I was like ready to go.
Fuck.
I was in the mood for this. And I started playing it. Did not enjoy this game at all. This is a do not buy. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. There's nothing in this game that is going to pull you in. There's lots of positive reviews. It's it's well done. It's well made. It looks good. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not into it at all, even a little bit. It was not what I wanted, and so I'm saying Dicey Dungeons is a no. Don't even bother. Unless you got some, I don't know. No, don't bother.
All right,
there's better ones. Okay. The next one is another game that's been on my wish list for a while. This theoretically sounded a lot of fun, so I was like, I'm going to check to see if it is fun. It's called Rogue Tower. This is a very simple tower defense game. And every now and then I'm like into tower defense. I don't know if you've ever gotten in that mood where it's like, I could play a tower defense.
I don't ever get in the mood, but I always think about, I've played some amazing tower defense games that I
You
love.
get fun with them, right? They're pretty fun sometimes.
Yeah, they're pretty addictive.
So this is a roguelike tower defense game. So you're playing, so it starts and you have a tower at the end of it. And it's as basic as you can get. There's a lane, these little goblin type of guys come down the lane, and then as you're going, you're killing these guys using your basic tower, and then as they come down, you kill them, you get some gold, then you build more, right? Each consecutive tower costs more of that type, so that is one thing that's maybe slightly different than some other ones I've played. Where the roguelike elements come in is you are the further you get, of course, you're getting this type of currency where there's a gigantic skill tree. It's huge, where you unlock stuff. So you unlock stuff, and there's I think what's good about this game is there are a huge variety of towers to use, and there's like a currency type in game. So like there's energy, and you have to like build energy factories. And after each wave, that's when you can like upgrade and build. You get cards to upgrade your run with, and you use the cards that you've unlocked. So you can get a new tower type, you can get a new ability, which is like energy based, pretty much like double your energy income, or you can like power up your main tower so it has more HP, or you can upgrade the combat towers that you've built. So you got a ballista, you can add burning to them or whatever, like something like that. And honestly, there's nothing revolutionary about the tower defense side of it. The guys come, the further you get,
basic.
the tougher the guys are. It's very fun. It's a really good game. It's
You play this on the deck?
I didn't play it on the deck because I thought about it, but I don't think it would be great for the deck because I was doing a lot of zooming in,
zooming out, scrolling. That's why I was curious.
A ton of scrolling, because as you go, there's different game modes you can play. And so as you're going, you start off doing single lanes. There's just one lane, and eventually that lane like branches off. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention this. After each level, you beat the round, the wave or whatever. You place a tile piece, so you extend the road. You say, where do you want to extend it? You click there, and it makes the road longer, and it spawns in other stuff. And so there's like that random element to it, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, you just kind of go through, and as you're build your towers up, unlock stuff, play the game modes where you have more than one lane. So you can play a 2-lane. There's 2 lanes to start, so 2 entrances to your tower.
Yeah,
through more than that, right? More than that gets a little too chaotic. I'd say where this game does fall apart is it kind of has the same. Since it's pretty much endless mode. You just like get as far as you can. That does kind of get a little old. There's like goals you're trying to hit. Like there's milestones you're trying to hit, but at the same time, there's not like I beat this run. There's no beat the run. You just go until they beat you. And so that's kind of where my complaint was. And it gets to that point with all games like that. It gets to that point where it's like impossible. Like I am so overpowered right now, and there's just the waves that come, and you're like, there's no way I can win this. It's like bosses and speedy guys, just like so much running in.
Yeah.
But up to that point, very fun. The variety of stuff you can do is a lot of fun. There's a lot of different types of abilities that are really fun. Like there's this saw blade that just kind of like chucks itself down the lane, and it'll go as far as it can. Just taking out chopping through guys. Yeah.
I like that.
So you get a handful of those going, just like saw blades bouncing around. That's pretty fun. So yeah, this is a good game.
How much was this one?
This is, let's see, hold on, let me pull up. Okay, it's $15 again. This is a buy on sale. It's not worth $15 to me.
You had this on your wish list, and
this was on my wish list, and I've played 10 hours of this. So I think I bought this again like 50%, so like $7-8 bucks.
10 hours worth it, dude.
Absolutely worth it. That's what I'm saying. You buy this on a sale, is worth it. This is a game where I'll probably play it again at some point, just like jump in and like Just jump in and
Yeah,
play.
it's like I like the
rounds.
blocky art style. I like that.
It's so simple. It is not
'cause that's
hard to
what-
get into.
I don't want an overly busy visual tower defense.
If you don't want to think too hard about a game too, like this is it. You don't have to think
That's what I
hardly
like
at
about
all.
tower defenses. Yeah.
You can just play it. There's strategy to how you play this stuff, but that's it. So okay, last one is one I mentioned, I alluded to, Diablo 4. Finally, we started playing it because it's on Game Pass. So it came out on Game Pass, so we started playing Diablo 4. Finally, I wasn't going to pay for this game, but I'm more than happy to play it. And to be honest, we've been having a great time with this. So if you're unfamiliar with Diablo, this is a game series where it's a looter shooter, quote unquote. And you're just going in. It's brawler style, so you're looking kind of like I think it's isometric is what they call it, like kind of a top-down view. And you're just running in and just like killing just hordes of demons, so many of them at a time. And as you go, you're upgrading, you upgrade, and there's a huge skill tree where you put you level up skills. You can pick different abilities. And there are 4 quick keys you can assign. So there are abilities. There are abilities that you can kind of switch them out how you want to try to do your build. The fun part of these games for me is there is just so much loot. You're just like, you're killing guys, just dropping loot everywhere. And so you're always trying to like upgrade your loot, because as you level up, the guys level up and you're like, man, I need a better helmet or whatever. And then you get legendaries that have like separate abilities, or they buff your abilities, make them crazy. And so like, it's always fun to see how that plays out. This game has 5 different classes, I think. I'm a barbarian. Our other friend is a like a wizard, sorcerer, using magic. One friend is the ranged guy, the demon hunter. One guy is the necromancer, which seems kind of OP. He just like stands there and summons hordes of guys. He like doesn't even move at the time. They just like kill everything. There's a druid, which I really wanted to play. There might be one more, but so that's kind of the classes. And you go in. Okay, so it's classic Diablo. If you played any Diablo 3, it's the same thing, just maybe upgraded visuals. The skill tree's, I think, a little bigger. Like there's a ton of abilities to choose from. Here's my nits about the game. First off, how long has Diablo 4 been out, JD? It's been 2 years?
Year, 2, yeah. Long enough.
We still come across weird bugs and server issues. Like I was playing earlier today just for a little bit. I had like 30 minutes while dinner was cooking. I was like, I'm gonna go play for a minute. Started playing, and my server was just lagging so hard that I was like, I couldn't play because I was about to get into a boss fight, and you have to like react to what the boss is doing.
Dude,
I've had a server just completely shut down.
This came out in June, so it's been out almost a full year.
Oh, okay. So they have like weird server issues.
That's wild.
There's been, and it's not like super rampant to where it ruins the game, but when they come across them, you're like, dude, this shouldn't be happening right now. One of my biggest nits is the skill tree. It's big, which I love. I love a big skill tree. However, this one is so large that you can only view like a small portion of it at once. And the way it works is it kind of like you unlock a new section. So it's like it's not like a skill tree, for example. It's like there's a section here and then you zoom down and there's a section here. So you're just like constantly moving around so you can see the skill tree. And I don't like it because there are sections that I legitimately have like forgot about. And I was like, oh yeah, I gotta do that. Some of the gameplay stuff, they don't really hold your hand enough. They just assume you know what you're supposed to do. So it took some trial and error to figure out some pretty basic things. And then one of my biggest complaints, and I don't even know if there's a workaround for this, but like when we join a game, so if we all are in the same place in the story, you only make progress on the party leader's story. So the first time I played by myself for a little bit just to get a hang of it. And then I jumped into my friend Steven's game and we played his story mission. And then when I played by myself the next day, I had to do that whole thing again. right? That whole big story section that I
Dude.
I was like, I gotta do this again. So like we were at the same spot, but it only progresses one of you, which is kind of obnoxious from like a I want to play with my friends standpoint. And then the other little nit was that oh, is another weird bug. Like you can skip the dialogue, like speed through it. So like it shows up as text and then you can listen to them, right? Fully voice acted, which is great. However, sometimes the voice actors are extremely slow, especially when someone's in pain and they're talking to you. They're like, this, you have to help me find my daughter. And you're like, please stop. I read this.
Will you just die already?
I read this 30 seconds ago. Most of the time you can skip through that. You can like speed through it. Every now and then, for no discernible reason, you can't. And it's a bug because Steven and I will be doing the same dialogues. It'll be like a side. You can do side missions together. You can complete them when you're together. He'll be able to speed through the dialogue and I won't be able to, or vice versa. So then I'm done with the whole, like, it's not even a cutscene. It just kind of zooms in and just does dialogue. I'm done. And I have to sit there and wait 3 minutes for Steven to be done because he can't speed through it for whatever reason. So there's some obnoxious things like that where you're like, you should have this figured out, Blizzard. But all of that being said, this is a fun game. It's a Diablo game. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. The story's actually good. Like, I'm into the story. I do like it. I like all the stuff that's happening. It's good. It's a good game. So I'm not going to say buy it any price because I think it is a $70 game, and I obviously was not going to buy it at $70.
Yeah.
But if you have Xbox Game Pass, play it. And you haven't played this yet, play it. You will have fun.
You might as well. Yeah.
Diablo games are fun. You get to the end game and it kind of becomes problematic for me a little bit. That's when I bounce off. And that's what I told all my friends. I was like, hey, let's just play this until we get to the end game. And then like we can play for a little bit and then we'll bounce off. I already know we will. But like for now, we're having a blast playing it. It's a great time. Like I said, the story's good. The missions are good. They're variable enough. And you're just like killing crap. So you're killing so much crap. It's kind of fun. So Diablo 4, this is a play it on Game Pass. Download it, play it on Game Pass. If it ever goes on a 50% sale, buy it, play it. If you like Diablo, it's Diablo. You know exactly what it is. There's nothing exceptional about this game that makes it unique in any way, but it is Diablo and it's a good story. So that's my review. If you have Game Pass, play it because I'm enjoying it a lot. Out of all three of these games, this is the one I've already put way more hours into. This is the most fun of all these. So play Diablo.
Nice. Okay. They spent enough money on it. Should be good.
It took long enough too.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's move on. Do some dice.
Dice of Destiny.
Nope. Not doing it this week.
Hey. We got one for everything. Guys,
Everything.
it was WrestleMania this weekend, which I should have given kudos to, honestly.
Yeah, you probably should have. You really enjoyed it.
I'll just do it next week so you can hear about WrestleMania for 2 full weeks.
Yeah,
Guys,
I actually think I'm going to be out next week. So
no, that's great. We'll just do a WrestleMania pod. Yeah, cool. If you guys have Peacock, you can go watch the replays. It's about 8 hours of wrestling. So I know if you didn't know about it before, you probably
binge watched more wrestling than I watched of the whole March Madness tournament, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In 2 days. We just sat there eating Little Caesars pizzas and watching wrestling and eating lemonade dots. It was a wonderful weekend.
It sounds pretty nice.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. It was really relaxing. So that's what I was doing. And I wasn't picking a game. Jenna and I have a few that we wanted to play the demos of. But it's just a long week and didn't happen. So I will have a few.
You better do it next week, JD.
I'll do it next week.
You better do it next week.
We'll see.
No,
I don't know. I kind of like the Dice of Destiny. Nope. It's funny. All right. That's it. So that's it. We did it all. To play us out, we've got some of the music from Dicey Dungeons.
Great music, though. Really fantastic.
Yeah, 35 minutes. And you did listen to some of the music, which I'm actually kind of impressed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. That's what we got.
Hour 30. We did it. Like right on the money.
Every fucking time, dude.
Yeah.
All right. I'm JD. Logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
Send us more songs. Just do it. We'll play 'em
sing a
here.
song. It doesn't have to be good. Just like sing a song.
Just
in the
sing a
mic,
song.
like,
Yeah, and
doing
send it in. We love
karaoke.
that shit.
If you can get a DCMA for that song too, like a Violation or whatever.
Oh, that would be a
Like double
double for
whammy.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, double whammy. We would love that. And if you did it while you were listening to our podcast during your daily listen, because you started back on episode 1.
Dude.
Look, we pay to host all
3-bit champion.
no
3-bit
podcasts
champion.
out there host all 365 episodes. We fucking do, because it's important. It's a story we've been telling that for over 350 episodes. We've been telling the same, this consistent story. It's like a soap opera. You gotta go back to the beginning to understand it.
WrestleMania.
All right, so here's the thing about WrestleMania, guys.
Stream over.